just jump right in. Hi, everybody who's watching. My name is Allison Bowman. I'm the Administrative Assistant for the Arts Council of Johnson County, and I am here today for our first creative conversation of this fall with some awesome artists who are currently working on a collaborative mural in Roeland Park, Kansas. And we're going to be talking about past murals they've done, experiences they've had, just kind of behind the scenes of mural painting. So I'm gonna just have you guys introduce yourselves really quick. Sol, do you want to go first? You can say your name and a little bit about what you do.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Sol Anzorena, and I'm an artist from Argentina, but now I'm living here in Kansas. And yeah, I do murals, I do visual art, a lot of watercolor paintings and photography.
Nice.
Yes.
Cool. Emily, do you want to go next?
Hi, my name is Emily Alvarez. I'm from Miami. I've been living here for about 7 years now, I think. Yeah, it went really fast. I also do murals. It's most of the work I've done since I graduated college. I do children's books and comics. I mean, I think a lot of illustrators do a lot of different things. It's kind of hard to pin it down, but yeah, making art. Good stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alex?
Hello, I'm Alex Eickhoff, originally from Jefferson City, Missouri, and I moved to for about 2 years, and I've been doing custom canvas work, painting, acrylic painting for, I don't know, the better part of the last decade, I guess. But I've been making art my whole life, since I was probably like, I don't know, 5. So.
Awesome. Brittany, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Noriega. I am the supervising artist for the mural, and I am an independent artist. I've been back in Kansas City since 2015.
Awesome. Very cool. So this is kind of weird for me because I also am an artist on the mural, but I'm going to be the interviewer. So we're just going to keep that role. But most people who watch these know who I am. So I think, Brittany, if it's okay with you, do you want to kind of set us up and tell us like what is the Roeland Park mural, how it happened, who it's for, that kind of thing?
Sure. Yeah. I've only been on the art committee for about a year. So it's kind of a newer role for me, but the mural or a mural is something that they've wanted to do for years and years. And it's just a process with budgeting and approval and all of that kind of background stuff that has to happen. But it finally got approved, and the committee really wanted something that represented our city and our values as a community.
Awesome. Cool. And the mural has a theme, and it's called Uniquely Rooted, which that's also the kind of slogan for Roeland Park too, right? Not just the mural.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I guess how does that tie into the mural? Yeah, what are the values?
So Uniquely Rooted is kind of our newer tagline for the city. And it came about, it's kind of about, I guess, our values as well as our position, our literal location in the city or in the outside of the city. We're like right in the middle between Kansas City and, Overland Park, right in between the two big metros. So they wanted something that represented our location and our values as a community. Hold on, I have notes. I'm new at this.
You're good.
Okay, yeah. So they wanted something that represented our foundation as a community, that we are rooted in community, that the cities, we're always changing and growing and developing, but our history and our values are strong, and that's kind of how it came about.
Cool. So question for the artists, and Emily, if you want to start, just curious, when you saw the call and you saw kind of, what they wanted and heard uniquely rooted, what was your process of coming up with a design?
Yeah, well, my design, I didn't know that much about Roeland Park beforehand, so I tried doing a bunch of research online. I was especially, well, there was some material was provided with the application, but I tried branching out a little bit and doing more research into history. Yeah, there were the 7 themes to choose from, and I chose prehistory. Because I think that there was some really fascinating indigenous history in the area, and that was kind of what I chose to focus on with mine. And Kansas is one of the few states with 2 state dinosaurs, and they were just really cool. I wanted to throw them in there. I have that extra little corner on my side, so I'm gonna try to squeeze in another dinosaur.
Cool.
But yeah, so it was mostly inspired by research about the local indigenous history, like kind of what preceded what's there today. And yeah, there's, I mean, a lot of places in the Midwest, there's a lot going on like the Great Plains, before colonialism. So a lot of them have some pretty rich history that's really good to get into. Yeah, it's just really interesting.
Cool. Alex, your design, you want to tell us about it and kind of how that came about and what it is?
Yeah, so I'm the one that's painting the tree right in the middle. So when I saw the call for the tree painting, I was like, okay, cool. I was like in the middle of preparing for my solo show at Upper Level Gallery, which is all about trees. It was called Under the Tree. So I was like, well, this is perfect. I hope they pick me because this is like perfectly in line with my life. So yeah, no, I love painting trees. It's kind of a symbol of growth and potential, as well as like perseverance and resilience. And those are things that I think apply to just being an artist in general. So it's kind of an intrinsic meaning there. But yeah, as far as like designing it, it's kind of challenging because it's a really long composition. So like obnoxiously long compared to any canvas than you would buy at a store, like what you're used to designing work for. So like, I'm sure like all the other artists had struggles as well. Like, what I'm saying when I'm saying it's like hard to design something that's so long, especially an object that is usually tall, right? Like it's usually taller than it is wide. So that was a little bit tricky, but I kind of just made it a little more character-like and kind of chubby looking. So
Yeah,
You are doing such a good job. It looks amazing.
it does.
thanks.
Yeah. Sol, your design is, well, tell us about your design. I don't want to tell them about your design. You tell us.
Okay. So in the application at the beginning, they gave us like 6 different topics to choose from. And the one I chose is called Giving Back. So I wanted to represent that using the inspiration of having my mother-in-law here, who has lived in Roeland Park for 30 years. And she's like a goddess gardener. Her garden is the most beautiful thing. And I have only lived here for a year, but when I talk to the neighbors and I tell them which is the house where I live in, they say, oh, the house with all the trees and all the flowers and everything. So in my mural depicts a woman planting a tree in her garden. and you can see her garden is gonna have like an orchard, and there are animals like deer and a raccoon. There might be a possum. That might be a new addition. And yeah, so that's what I decided to depict, because I think that's the most beautiful way to give back to the community and the earth, just to plant a tree that is gonna grow and be there for who knows how many years. Yeah.
Cool. I like that. I had no idea that your mother-in-law lived in Roeland Park, so that's really cool to know.
Yeah.
Let's see, Brittany, do you want to tell us a little bit, and you don't need to go like too much into detail, but kind of what was the process of choosing the artist? Because there were, so to give everybody kind of a like an idea of what the wall looks like, Alex was talking about how long it is. It's a, would you call it a retaining wall? I think. So it's like a really, really, really long wall that lines Roe Ln, and total it's like what, 311 feet long. And at the highest point, I think it's about 7 feet tall. So it's like tall compared to people, but it's so long. And then each of us get a section that's like roughly 44 feet by however tall the wall is. So anyway, Brittany, do you want to tell us a little bit about what the process was for choosing the seven artists?
Sure. Yeah. It's actually a process that we've been working on since early spring. We had to, we put out an open call. We ended up getting a lot of submissions, a lot of designs. And from there, we narrowed it down to 10 artists who then submitted a more finalized design and then they were voted on by the arts committee. And then from that process, we had to go and get approval from city council for the final designs.
Yeah. Cool.
Sounds straightforward. It just takes a long time.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, the city council approved everyone's designs, no issues. So that was really great. We were all there to kind of see that. And so that was fun.
Can I interrupt you for a second? Can you tell us about your panel?
Yeah. So my panel, I originally had started out, I applied for the giving back portion of the mural as well, which is what Sol's is now. And then it transitioned to just art, which was one of the six categories. But my, the thing that I paint the most is usually plants, flowers, trees, because as Alex said, it's just a symbol of growth. A lot of my work has to do with mental health and growing and, going through that journey and struggle. But my mural piece is just super colorful. There's flowers in it. And then it's in the middle are two hands that are kind of holding a budding flower or seed. So it's like the community coming together. It's inspired by nature. And yeah, so two giant hands. So I am curious, have any of you guys, Brittany included, have you worked on any large collaborative projects before? And can you tell us about that experience if you have? Anybody? I think, Emily, if you want to go first, I think you have in Roeland Park, correct? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's the only other collaborative project that I've ever done.
Cool.
And yeah, well, that one was a little bit more, I guess I feel like the art was a little bit more segregated, and this one we have to actually transition between the pieces. And the last one there was like, it's in Roeland Park in the Clock Tower Plaza. I think there were 6 people in total, but 2 of the artists, Scribe and JT Daniels, kind of had their own sections, like apart from the 4 who were on the same wall. yeah, it was, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was me, Rico, and Isaac Tapia, who are both on this wall, and Aaron. I wish I remembered his last name. I'm so sorry. These very talented people, but yeah, and it was an interesting experience trying to get it approved. But yeah, but you know, it was fun to kind of compare ideas and see. Isaac and Rico ended up having some transitions between the pieces, with just like small elements that would kind of, like, I had clouds in mind, so they kind of leaked into the other pieces a little bit. But yeah, and it was really fun. It was really interesting. It was nice to have other people to paint with when it was dark outside. You know. But yeah, no, it was fun. The approval process was one of the most memorable parts. But aside from that, it was kind of great. Yeah, and I'm really happy it's in a high traffic area. Everyone can see that. I think it's a beautiful wall.
Yeah, I think so too. And you're welcome to talk about the experience if you want to. If you don't, that's fine. I won't pressure you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, you know, I'm sure other people have things that they want to say about their projects too. I just didn't want to take up too much time. But real quick, it was organized through Interurban Art House. Great collective, and yeah, so we by the time, I mean, you know, I'm sure it was a much longer process before we got on board too, or before I was on board at least. I mean, you know, Brittany, I'm sure it took at least a year to reach that point where we went to a town hall meeting to get it approved. And yeah, you know, there were some naysayers. There were some people who had some interesting things to say. One man called Aaron's design graffiti, not real art, in the town hall meeting. And a lot of people saying like, why, I don't want voodoo, I don't know, like voodoo depictions of voodoo on my wall. It was some interesting ideas. You know, people had some yeah, a few people brought up, you know, they just, you know, trying to find anything they could to, you know, whatever, like old codes about you know, not being able to clash with the color scheme of the buildings and crazy stuff like that. But in the end, I feel like the community got what they wanted. It's just, you know, small group of people that were a little upset about it. You know, they wanted more traditional murals, I guess. They wanted covered wagons and a lot of beige. But you know, as somebody, yeah, as somebody else had brought up in the town hall meeting in support of the murals, you know, it's a big part of that area was already older, and they wanted younger people to move in. And you know, you have to kind of show that you're welcome to new ideas, to encourage new people to show up and to feel like you have an accepting community that has potential to grow. So it's kind of important for, you know, not just for the people that live there, but for the people that could potentially help the community grow and expand. You know, yeah, it's yeah, I think it was part of a bigger kind of movement that is good. You know, yeah. And Roeland Park was much easier. They were so nice.
Yeah, they definitely, I think it was a good process for the city. So
yeah.
Sol, I know this is your first, I think this is your first public mural, but you have done murals not only in the United States, but you've done them around the world. Do you want to talk about a little bit about your murals?
Yeah, sure. I started painting murals when I was 18. I did a backpack trip with my partner to South America. We started in Peru, we went to Bolivia, Argentina, Chile, and back to Peru. And we were doing volunteer work in farms and hostels. And in my first experience doing this, it's called Workaway, the website that we used to find the project. So it was my first experience doing Workaway. And we went to the lodges of this Italian guy who was living in the jungle in Bolivia. And he just saw some of my paintings. I showed him some pictures, and he said, would you paint a mural if I paid for the paints and everything you needed? And so I took the opportunity and I did, and he really liked the result. And then I posted those pictures on my profile on Workaway, and other projects started to appear. So I just kept painting murals during all that trip. And then every time we do a backpack trip, that's what we do. Basically, we search for the places where I can paint murals. So that way, I have painted many pieces in India, in Ireland, and yeah, in South America a lot. So
Cool.
yeah.
So how long I know artists hate this question, but how long did you spend on each mural since you were backpacking? Did you like stay in that spot for a while, or?
Well, we try to spend at least 3 weeks or a month in the places that we visit when we are traveling, because that's the best way to get to know the place and get to know the people who live there. So normally, yeah, depending on the size of the mural, for me, it can take in between a week or a month. I think it's the longest it has taken me to finish a piece. Yeah, because I work with only brushes. I don't do a spray, so it's very slow in comparison. But I also really like it because I work a lot with small details, and even in big murals, I like to add smaller details, and brushes work very well for that.
Yeah, definitely. I've never used spray paint. Well, I've never used spray paint to like actually paint. So I'm with you. I use brushes, but it takes forever. So, Alex, do you want to talk about your business and kind of all the things that you've been doing with your murals?
Sure. So, like I said, I've been painting murals, I guess, for the past couple years. So 2 years ago, it was June 1st of 2019, I quit my full-time job at Dimensional Innovations in Merriam, Kansas, and just pursued art full-time. I was fortunate enough to have a job where I could work a bunch of overtime and make a lot of money, and I was single, and I still don't have kids or anything like that. So like I was able to save money really fast, and was just super frugal and prioritizing my mission to like be an artist and to like actually make it happen. So basically I saved up enough money to survive for a year with no income, just so that I could spend literally all of my time doing art, or at least like trying to be an artist. Cause like the first 6 months to maybe even a year, I was like rewiring my brain, right? Like I was like totally reprioritizing my life and like shifting everything around to where everything was in alignment with my wannabe art career. And like I was building habits, right? So like, because I had been working full time before that, I just was neglecting my art. I was maybe making like a canvas every 2 or 3 months, if that. So I was just like feeling myself slip. So I had to like retrain myself how to be an artist, if I ever really even was one. So it was a lot of like drawing and researching and reading and more drawing and more drawing, and painting. So I think in 2020 I did something like 315 paintings or something like that, like images that I made, like either digital or physical objects. A lot of that were like the mini paintings. I don't know if you guys have seen my mini paintings, but super easy to do. I mean, it's like 1 to 3 hours each one. And so you can knock out a few of them in a day. So that's what I've been doing for the past couple of years. And I guess I got my first official mural gig last September. So almost a year ago. I guess I've really only been doing murals professionally for a year. And that was when North KC hired me to do their public piece. So yeah, I'm just trying to paint. I want go. I want to do like Sol did and kind of take my art around the world, and just use it as a way to experience life. I don't know.
Yeah,
So.
that sounds super awesome. And Brittany, you're the same way. You have an independent artist career, and that's what you do all day, all the time. Do you want to talk a little bit about it? I don't want to make you just sit there and listen.
I don't mind. Yeah. So I moved back to Kansas City from Rapid City, South Dakota. And I owned a tattoo shop there. So I guess that's technically when I started my professional art career. It's a whole different ball game though, doing that. But yeah, I moved back and started a family. So I slowly kind of got back into the art community here. And things have just like gradually gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. I've been working on not a lot of murals here in Kansas City, but large scale stuff. I mean, 8-foot, 7-foot pieces
Yeah,
in my little studio apartment. So
with a pencil.
yeah, yeah, with a pencil. Yeah.
Just blows my mind. Oh, cool. So another question I have for you guys are, does anybody have any things that you've learned about working on public murals? Any challenges you've faced? I know Emily talked a little bit about hers in Roeland Park, but I wanted to let everybody have a chance to share if they wanted to. Sol, have you had any challenges going around the world and painting murals?
Well, since this is my first public mural, well, I haven't had many problems with this one. I mean, most people are really nice and welcoming, and when I'm painting there, they say good job and stuff like that. They scare me a little bit when they honk. Because I'm really concentrated. Suddenly I hear that. But no, from other murals, the problem that I have had maybe is somebody giving like their opinion in a not so nice way.
Yeah.
Not even the people who were asking for the mural, but somebody else who was around, they would say something about the mural, and it's sometimes it can be a little bit annoying and discouraging, but I think most of the experiences I have had were really nice and beautiful.
Good. Yeah, talking about people driving by and walking by, this is my first public mural too, so I was, totally prepared for people like, what are you doing? Are you graffiti? Like you're vandalizing our wall. But that hasn't happened. And everybody who's driven by or walked by, a lot of people say thank you, which I think is interesting. Like, thank you for painting this wall, which makes me feel good. But Alex, have you had any challenges, or I know your first public mural was about a year ago, but anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, I guess I can kind of elaborate on what Sol had just mentioned about just like people interacting with you while you're working on it. Because in a lot of ways it can be really encouraging, when someone's driving by and they do say thank you, or like one of my favorite things is when people say, I feel that. Like the guy ride by on his bike the other day, he's like, I feel that. And I was like, yeah, you do. Thank you. I'm glad you do. Cause like, that's what I'm trying to do. We're artists, we're like energy workers. So like, we're putting all our energy into it. So like, you probably do feel it. There's like a scientific word for that. I think, I don't know, maybe I was talking about it with Sol one day, of like how you infer the energy or the meaning. No, it wasn't Sol, it was somebody else. Anyway, challenges though can be like, especially if your client, this scenario is not this way, but like I've had clients before come up to me during the process and they'll be like, are you going to put this in there? Or like, you should put this in there, or like just make suggestions and stuff like that. And I'm like, you see, you've already approved the design and I'm already painting. You're welcome to watch. You're welcome to join in the process and like hang out and stuff. But like, I'm doing my thing. Kind of let me do my thing, because if you don't let me do my thing, then you're really not going to like it. I promise. So just let me do what I'm doing. And it's hard for people to understand that, because especially if you're somebody that's paying money, murals are huge. So they usually cost a lot of money just in supplies. And then, I mean, it takes us artists like exponentially more effort and time than another just like canvas painting would. So yeah, just like having to kind of flow your creative process with the movement of the environment and you're outside. So that can be definitely a little challenging. Like make the tree look happier. I'm like, I don't know how much happier it can be. It's smiling so hard that it can't open its eyes. So
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
something that that's been really challenging as far as organizing everything and getting everything together. You know, you get so many suggestions, and it's great that the community wants to be part of it, and they want to see this and they want to see this, and it's encouraging in one way that people are so excited about it, but there's only so many things we can put in the mural, you know. And from an artist perspective, people just don't understand the process and how many steps there are and how many, you know, we get suggestions, we're still getting suggestions, and it's like, well, it's almost done now. I mean, can't just throw something in there, and if we change it too much, then we have to think about what city council is going to say, or, you know, there's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I wanted to add something else to what Alex was saying. Well, I'm used to, well, I have done many murals, but my main work is just doing my small watercolor paintings, and like they are very personal, and it feels like all the process is just for me to see. And when you paint a mural, you are so exposed to like what other people will say, where they are seeing the process, and like there are things, like there are parts of the process that don't look very nice, and you don't want other people to see them, but they are there. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that I have felt a lot of that in this public mural, because it's right next to a road too. So you have all these people seeing what is happening, and yeah. So those comments of people saying what they think of it when it's not finished already, like they can be a little bit discouraging or confusing for you.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's a lot different than painting something in your basement and then everybody gets to see the finished product. But I think it's great that people get to see the process. But yeah, there's definitely parts that, you know, it looks a little rough. But that's what artists do. They take things and they fine tune them and make them awesome. So Brittany, do you have any questions for the artists, or anything else we need to touch on about the mural?
I don't think so. Everyone's doing amazing.
Yeah.
It looks so good. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see it finished. And yeah, everyone's doing so awesome.
Oh, I will say we should probably name the other artists. So it's us four. So Sol, me, Emily, and Alex all have a piece. And then Jessica Rogers, who works for the Kansas City Artists Coalition. And then Isaac Tapia and Rodrigo Alvarez. And they're kind of work together usually on murals, but they each have their own section. So is that it? I think that's it. So yeah, we're all out there at various times of the day and working super hard in the heat. It was actually really nice this morning. It was like 60 degrees.
Hopefully the rest of this month it's going to be like nice and cool and you guys can just like chill and paint. That priming day was rough.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever sweat that much in my life. Oh, but anyway, before we wrap up, I just want to ask each of you, are there any upcoming projects you want to talk about or exhibitions, or, you know, where can people find you? Social media, physically, that kind of thing. Sol, do you want to start?
Yes.
I know.
If anybody wants to come and see the mural, which I advise you to do, you can also go to see my exhibit at the Cedar Row Library in Roeland Park. It starts today and it's going to be there until the 21st of December. And yeah, you can find my work on Instagram. Searching for my name, sol.anzorena.art. Or you can also find my work on my website, which is solanzorena.art. And yeah, like just contact me and yeah, get in touch.
Awesome. Emily?
Thank you, Allison. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff squished into like these 2 months. It's been a little tough. That's why I haven't started painting yet. I will very soon. But I'm working on the first 10 pages of a comic I'm going to be pitching at New York Comic Con in October. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully it gets picked up. I think it will. Looks pretty good. And I'm working on a children's book that's happening like at the end. I'm gonna have done by the end of October probably. And yeah, and of course this mural that's gonna be so beautiful. Yeah, it's mostly that. And then my I'm most active. Well, my website is emilyalvarez.art because there are a lot of Emily Alvarez's in the world, so I had to get a .art website. I swear the URL works. And my Instagram handle is emily.alvarez.art, I think. So yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Alex, what do you got going on?
I am also really busy. So I've been just doing a bunch of murals. I've got a mural in Waldo coming up in the next few weeks, which is where I live. I'm in like Waldo, KC, South KC area, which there's like not a ton of murals in. So I'm really excited about that because it's like my own neighborhood. And then Spraycimo is in a couple weeks. It's the end of September. So I think it's actually the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, something like that weekend. So watch out for a new wall in the Crossroads. You can follow me on socials. Everything is Eikoff. It's not like my name. It's like Eickhoff. That's just way easier to remember. That's Instagram. Instagram, it's I_Koff. That's where you should follow me if you want to stay up to date on stuff like on a daily or weekly basis. That's what I post most often. But also follow me on YouTube if you like YouTube videos and you like art process videos, time-lapse footage, and just like really crappy dad jokes and stuff. You should definitely check out my YouTube channel because there's like several hours worth of entertainment on there for you. I've got quite a backlog built up, and there's going to be a pretty cool video of this project too. So make sure you subscribe so you see it when it comes out. Also Eikoff.com. That's all my stuff, I think.
Cool. I do have to mention that, so when I rolled up to the mural to start, I'm like, you know, taking a picture on my phone, and then Alex comes and he's got his GoPro, he's got his drone, he's like strapping cameras to light poles. So I thought that was awesome. But yeah, super professional.
Film and paint at the same time. It's
yeah.
Awesome sometimes, but it's worth it for sure. It's worth it.
Yeah,
and then you have me who doesn't bring her phone to ask for people to take pictures.
Yes. That's okay. Everyone has their own thing. Brittany, what are you up to? What do you have going on? Where can we see your work?
I actually have 3 solo shows coming up. The first one is now going to be at Inner Urban Art House. I actually haven't finalized any of that yet, so fingers crossed on that one. I had to move a show that was supposed to happen in October, so we're working on that one. But then in January, I will be at the Lenexa Library, and then that's until April. And then in May, I will be at Smalter Art.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Awesome. And your streetcar stop.
Oh, and I have a streetcar stop. Mine's at, my stop is at 11th and Main, I think, right by the Lightwell building. So yeah, that has been such a cool process.
Yeah.
So tell us about your stop.
Okay. So I also have a streetcar stop. It's at 9th and Main, right next to the library. And yeah, that was a really cool process. And it was like mind-boggling to see my work in like a transparent way. So that's definitely like got some ideas going in my head. But yeah, I don't have anything coming up, I don't think. Just the mural process, and then I honestly have not painted on canvas in like months, so that's my goal for the next couple months, is to get some actual work done. So but yeah, anybody have anything else they want to say or ask or anything? Leave it open.
Congratulations, all of you, on your projects. You're so talented.
Definitely.
Likewise.
You too, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for helping me kick off our season 2 of Creative Conversations. And and thanks for everybody who watched. This will also be up on YouTube in probably tomorrow or Friday on the Arts Council of Johnson County's YouTube, which I think is just Arts Joco. But yeah, so thank you guys so much, and I will let you guys get back to your day.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.